Well, sorry that that's not quite working the way I wanted it to. Greetings. Welcome to Empath's Holistic Healing. It's me, Lady Empath. And yes, today you guys don't really see anything fancy on my apologies for that. Um, Moving forward, things will continue to get better and better. I also just want to say greetings to anyone that joins at some point of the recording. I always kind of make these default statements that I can't see the screen. So I'm behind the camera. So if you were to make a live comment, I wouldn't see it until after the video's been recorded and I go back. So just know that I'm never ignoring anybody, okay? That's just not my energy. If I don't reply, it's because of, like I said, I'm not really seeing the camera. I'm behind the laptop. And then later on, I go back and I always look at the videos to see how the content was and how the acoustics was. And then I'll see something. So I would love to hear from you all. I mean, if you're on a similar path and journey and you're understanding energy and holistic healing modalities, metaphysics, light language, Reiki, all those sorts of things, I would love to hear your story too. And any comments that you may have, that's of course positive in nature. Um, as well as anything that you may want to see Empaths Holistic Healing do more of. And once I start collecting more, data from you all, I'll start critiquing a little bit different. But as for now, I kind of just go on my own inner guidance and what I feel the collective is in need of hearing. So I apologize. There's nothing fancy to look at right now, but hopefully you're like, if you're anything like myself, you go and you listen to content, whether it's YouTube or any other platform, you go and you listen to things for its content, for its value, for the purpose in which you clicked on it to start. You don't really go on there just for the visual effects of things. Okay, that's how I am. Because if something's got some good content, some good information, or if it's a light language, some kind of activation, or if it's Reiki, it doesn't have to look fancy for me. I mean, fancy is great, but it just doesn't have to for me. If the content is there, then it's valuable to me. That's just the way I look at things. um, so without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into what you see in the title. And you do see, I think I put assessing the energetic systems, chakras. Let's talk about it. And I felt, this is something that I'm asking myself, asking my guides, and I'm sure there are many out there, especially those resonating with me, that are probably wondering about the same thing. Chakras, energetic systems. I'm going to use some true to life, real life, regular scenarios just to make sense of things. I typically like to do that. So I was thinking the other day, in life, if somebody catches a cold, a flu, a disease of any sort, and they go to a doctor or whatever, and then the doctor, they run these tests, and then the doctor say, oh, you have bronchitis, this is why your symptoms are this, and what we are prescribing and recommending for you is this, right? Or let's use another scenario. Someone goes to a psychiatrist, a psychotherapist, a behavior health practitioner, and they tell the patient, oh, you have this. This is why your symptoms are this, and this is what we are recommending. And for the most part, when someone has a disease, caught a cold or a flu or whatever you want to call it, we pay attention to that, right? Whether we're the patient or the outsider, we pay attention to that and we adjust accordingly without any judgment, without any label attached to it, without any without taking offense, without even being triggered necessarily, because we see it as a neutral observation of a situation, a neutral observation of a condition. We were not feeling well. We went to the doctor did some tests, and you know, they said this. Likewise, or we feel like emotionally or mentally things were not well, we get assessed, and then we take it and adjust accordingly. I'm starting to wonder, why is it not so energetically? Energetically speaking, because I understand, and like many of you that are on this path, that our energetic system is equally real, if not more, equally real than anything else. And so, if one can assess that someone's energetic system is off, just like any other assessment, what we're doing as light workers and energy workers is, I call it an oxymoron catch 22, because it's dealing with energy is not as accepted or understood in the 3D matrix world. And so when you are dealing with individuals in your life that that their energetic system, and listen to me, their energetic system, their chakras, the energy body is sick. And I'm not using the word sick as a derogatory term or as any form of disrespect or condescension or slight on anyone's part. It's an assessment, just like you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you have bronchitis. It's not a judgment, it's not condescension. He simply assessed your situation. And so with energy, it's the same. And so I'm posing the question, like, why is that not as accepted or understood? And so you're navigating in a 3D world, wanting to be your most authentic self, dealing with people on different various degrees in their journey, um, and yet you can unknowingly trigger someone if you were to say, listen, your chakra system is off. Your chakras are off. That's why your energetic system is off. And that's why you conduct and behave this way. You think and feel this way. You perceive this way. You're programmed this way. Um, it provokes a trigger. So where does that leave the light worker? Where does it leave the energy worker? Where does it leave the individual who is fully aware and is fully dealing with their own chakra systems? Because let me just say this, if it haven't been said, all of us at some point had an off energetic system because of the programming we came with, because of the past lives, because of all that stuff. So there's no human that has forever and ever, always, from the moment they experienced the human experience, had a perfect energetic system. Absolutely not. Some are awakening to the reality of that, and they start to work on their chakras, as where maybe others aren't doing that. So if they aren't doing that, well, of course, those that are will be more energetically balanced. Okay. Chakras are very important to deal with. But the question I'm putting out there to my guides and sources, as you're continuing on your journey and you're dealing with your own chakra system, you're dealing with your own energetic system, but you know that in your 3 experience thus far, you're still dealing with individuals that are not doing the same thing. How do you deal with that? How, in a practical way, Do you deal with that in a world that has not embraced the energetic system the same way they have embraced our physical system? And quite honestly, I'm not going to even, perpetrate on here. You all know, those of you who listen to me enough, you know that I'm about being as candid and raw and honest as I could possibly be, which means this. I understand that I don't have all the answers. I simply am on the quest. And anything beneficial I feel like I receive, of course, I'm going to always pour that out and pay it forward. So that's been my personal challenge that I'm setting some intentions to get some clarity, get some guidance, get some balance. Y'all know, empath holistic healing, everything is energy. Balance is the key because we can't change anyone. And sometimes, going out there and, let's say you encounter a situation, whether it be work, family, friends, foes, whatever. And you know full well they're like doggone plugged into the matrix more than a little bit, okay? And you know it. So, and in terms of dealing with conflict, right? Because in life, there's going to be things, you know what I mean? And so when we're on this path to more authenticity, more truth, more, being ourselves and all of that, it starts to provoke question. So what do you do in this scenario when you really want to say, no, you're wrong. You're energetically off, okay? You need to deal with your chakras. You need to deal with your, energetic system and help you to come to balance. You know that by saying that, first of all, some folks gonna look at you like you have lost your marbles because they're running off of the matrix. They're running off of old grid. They're running off a program, and they're gonna look at you like you don't lost. You gone, right? or or they're triggered and get super defensive because how dare you insinuate that they are not perfect. How dare you insinuate that something's not right with them? They're taking it in that manner versus how they would take it if they were to go to a doctor. Now, I guess the difference is when you catch a cold and you're sneezing, you're looking for a relief, so you're going to go to the doctor. As where when you're energetically off, you've gotten used to being energetically off and you're accustomed to that and almost blindsided to it. So you're not seeking help that you don't feel like you need. But just because you don't feel like you need it don't mean you don't. For an example, there are people who have a high threshold of pain and high tolerance levels. And so some would say that's good, not necessarily, because the body is designed to tell you when something is wrong so that you can rectify it. So if somebody's got a high threshold intolerance, they may be sitting there in sickness. Is that good? Because see, if they don't know it, then they're not seeking the help because to them, there's nothing wrong. But does it mean that there's nothing wrong? No, it doesn't. By the time they catch on, if ever they catch on, it may be a little too late. It may be at the tail end of it to where it's grown so grotesque and so infectious in nature to where it's eaten up everything, for lack of better words. Now they're starting to question, is there something wrong? Okay. At that point, it may be too late. They die, or, God forbid. But I'm using this to make a plain parallel between the energetic world, our energetic body, and our physical body. So, my beautiful empaths, light workers, energy workers, I understand and feel your pain. Okay. Because I'm in that same place, that same boat. Most light workers or energy workers are keenly aware, and so they're constantly dealing with their system. They're aware that they got some programmings they're working through. They're aware that their chakra system was probably already off, so they're rebalancing it. Thus, they're constantly on this quest of inner, not just external, not just the material, not just the physical, okay? Not just trying to materialize a better life on the external. They're on this constant quest of self-assessing and readjusting and dealing with their energy, knowing that they need to manage their energy just as much as they're managing their physical body. And so my recommendations, and not that anyone's asking, but I do know that some of you listen even though I'm not hearing anything yet. Just know that. Um, I recommend what I'm trying to do myself, which is okay, go back within, because it's always about delving back within, getting that guidance, regrounding, and constantly cleansing our energy and asking for help with setting boundaries in the now and whatever that means. Okay. Um, Also making necessary changes and adjustments to our life and our life choices and things like that that's going to be more better suited. Realizing that we don't have to allow everything to come in close proximity. So as far as the things that we're encountering, let's say work, those necessary exchanges, deal with them, ask for that guidance and help, bring it back to balance, making changes if your guidance is you need to change something, you need to switch, whatever that is for you. But in terms of personal, like your personal life, your personal world, um, we don't have to continue on. Empaths, unfortunately, until we start healing and waking up and raising our vibration, we have this code, this program inside of us where, first of all, to put our own needs first. We feel this incessant need to please and make everyone else feel better and happy. So we go through a lot of phases with letting all of that go, because empaths typically get exploited from people that are still really deep, deep in those lower frequencies. Their chakra system is out of whack. And so the empath has to learn how to say no a lot. It's like we have to learn it. We have to learn how to say no. We have to learn how to have healthy boundaries and realizing that we're worth our own happiness. We are worth guarding that too. If something is toxic for us, if something is unhealthy, and we have to let go of the need to try to make people better so they can have relationship with them, because it's only going to trigger, like the examples I shared here moments ago. Unlike someone who's caught a cold, they're looking to go get that relief because they know they feel it. They caught the cold, so they go to the doctor. With the exception of people that have a high threshold, they may never go and end up with some mega gross stuff happening. Energetically speaking, people aren't as open and receptive, so they immediately get triggered due to some of their own trauma and childhood stuff that they're not even aware of. That when someone points that to them, no matter how sweet and syrupy and sugary and loving that you may attempt to put it, because some people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah, absolutely, to a degree. Because in most empaths' experience, it doesn't matter. Empaths are typically very sweet people. And I'm not just saying that. You can do your own research. Um, Very nice people, very diplomatic in nature, very soft in nature. And so they can, it doesn't matter if they're saying something um, that someone don't want to hear, because some people have a hard time being able to see or realize that it's something wrong with them. Empaths see that there's something wrong with themselves easily. That's the difference. And When I say something wrong, what I mean, let me clarify that, because I don't really mean it to say that something is inherently wrong with us. What I mean by that is empaths are able, they're sensitive to energy in a whole sense, and that includes their own. Okay. So not just in an area where we choose like, oh, I need to work harder on, getting a job, keeping a job, or I need to work harder on making this amount. Those are more materialistic in nature, and they have nothing to do with the core essence. So what I'm referring to that deep stuff that has nothing to do with the material world. It has everything to do with the essence of your emotional body, your soul, your person, how you're navigating with folks, right? Not just the stuff that you've made a list about that you want to change. You know what I mean? Because we all have that. Um, so anyway, to get back on point, beautiful souls. I always recommend, first of all, follow your own inner guidance, do your own research. I don't care who comes on YouTube or any other platform saying whatever. That includes me. Do your own innate, divine, spirit led research, because it's about when you're ready, first of all, when your highest intelligence can see that and what sit right with you. So when I speak of energetic systems, the chakras, and how real it is. I was listening to I Am Manifest today. Miss Lily, she's another lady that I follow here on YouTube, a light language worker. Um, I adore her. I mention her quite often because I resonate with her a lot. She's one of a few, but she was discussing wellness and well-being in energetic sort of way. She did an activation, and she reminded me, I listened to her today and I received like the light language, but she reminded me of something that was my guidance as well in terms of the food we're taking in. Food is also energy and a frequency and a vibration. It's also contributing to your energetic system as well. And so she mentioned, follow your guidance. She had did this cleanse and whatever, but so she wasn't saying that, oh, this is the particular diet you need to go on. She was just saying that being more mindful of that, understanding the frequency, that there's a frequency to food, and then being grateful and thankful for food and even blessing food, not just a regular blessing, but energetically speaking. And I was like, yeah, so because I've been on this whole health kick, I think I shared something here on YouTube maybe about a month or two ago, in terms of like green smoothie shakes and things like that are high frequency, and high alkaline water and things like that, because that was my guidance, and that brought me back to the energetic systems again. It brought me right back, like, oh, okay. So what happens sometimes feeling energetically off, empaths, is because we've gotten, in my personal opinion, we got distracted, overwhelmed, or whatever sometimes by life and whatever changes and transitions that we're going in. And so um, that's why it's necessary to have that solitude time for your energetic body, to do those sea salt baths, to ground in nature, to as to the best of your ability. Not everybody is currently in a position to, you know, go and get all of this high frequency food or whatever, but according to where you're at, I've always said that, because your innate knows, your guides know, the divine knows. So it's like, okay, increasing that, like, okay, I can give me an apple, dang it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like sometimes we have to kind of minimize it and not make it so big and broad, and just go like, look, I may not can eat 12 apples a day. I'm gonna get me an apple. Okay, that's one high vibrational frequency, you know what I'm saying, thing I'm putting in my body today. All right. You know what I mean? Because as you do that, then you're going to start being able to manifest differently anyway. We just start somewhere to help us. And I was like, dang, sometimes we're emotional eating. I know I'm guilty of that. Okay. But this is something that it's like, okay, no judgment. We don't need to be hard on ourselves. We got enough of that in the world, right? We don't need to be that. Um, no judgment. But like, okay, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling bogged down. I'm feeling sad about something. I'm feeling, you know, embracing all these feelings and from where we're at, just doing the best that we can. If you got any kind of piece of fruit in at your disposal, if you have, saying some green juice or good water, whatever you can get your hands on in a moment. You know what I mean? So that's going to help you impact. But in terms of how we are navigating and dealing with the world, and I apologize for any background noise. As you all can see, y'all looking at my son playing the video game. I didn't do nothing fancy. Um, so just staying in our own energy, letting go of what's not serving, walking away from things that we need to, and feeling worthy of something better. If something is starting to, be more taxing on your energies, on your person, then it's worth weighing those pros and cons, right? Um, know that you're not crazy, and you guys gonna always hear me say that because I'm insisting on validating the empath. I am insisting validating those that are on this kind of path because the world at large, the matrix, there's this program and belief system and grid and such as you beautiful souls that are resonating out there with empaths, holistic healing, or similar um, paths, we're the crazy ones, right? And we're not. We're not. Um, we've just been sensitive to energy since the moment we were born. And because the world as we know it have not recognized and validated that energetic system, science is starting to. Now, look how long it's taking, though. You see where I'm going? Sometimes we are light years ahead. And I'm not trying to say this, um, please understand. I'm not trying to say this in no know it all, arrogantly evil way, because that ain't even what it's about. Sometimes we just simply are light years ahead. Think about some of the many greats that we know about that we look at them, that are some, most of them passed on from other, generations or whatever, and they came up with these big discoveries or whatever we feel like they came up with. And we're looking at them, like, wow, but understand something. They had to go through some other stuff in their time and they were looked upon a certain way. Best believe that because in their time frame, in their time, it was looked at like you done lost your mind. What do you mean you're trying to come up with electricity? Or what do you mean you're trying to like just I'm just using that as an example. People that were light years ahead of what was deemed in that time period right and normal. So it is with people that understand energy, light language, Reiki, metaphysics, empaths. So in this way, light years ahead, which makes you feel like you're the odd man out, makes you feel odd because you're not fitting in with the status quo. You're not fitting in um, with what is deemed normal. I am about elevating the empath with this channel and anything that Empaths Holistic Healing will ever do. Elevating and supporting the empath, validating the empath, providing any tools in which is given me that's, beneficial, high vibrational, honoring, right? So, yes. So, no, you guys, like right now, I'm in my own mini vulnerability. I feel like you guys need to know that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because often people look at energy workers, light workers, Reiki practitioners, whatever you want to call it, psychic mediums, tarot readers, you name it, energy consults, like we don't have no kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? We bleed red. And yes, yes, we've honed in on a lot of energetic tools and have and continue to go through a process, but we are not immune. Not we're not. We're just not. Okay. That's I'm sorry. I'm just gonna throw that out there in the world. And so I realized some of my own vulnerability the last couple days, but it's a good thing. I'm looking at it differently. It's good because I'm like, okay, what does the empath typically do? Then all the empath is going to do is simply reassess and make adjustments. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Reassess, make adjustments. Reassess, make adjustments. Feel our feelings, feel them versus running. Like I typically, when I feel too overwhelmed by life or too overwhelmed by emotion, too overwhelmed by maybe a really bad day. When I feel that, my system is typically run in a cave, shut down, go to sleep. If I don't want to deal with it at the time, if I don't want to process, if I don't want to, you know, if I want to feel it, if I don't want to deal, if I want to talk about it. And guess what? That's okay too, to a degree. We need to feel our feelings too. We need to sit with it and not be afraid of the overwhelmingness that maybe we feel, maybe the anger, maybe sorrow, maybe, not be afraid of it. Just sit with it. That's a part of honoring it. Empaths been conditioned to squelch all that stuff. Just squelch it. It ain't real. You don't deserve to feel. Worry about everybody else, right? But we need to sit with it and feel it and validate it and then let it go. So that's been my own intention is, and hopefully it's yours, as you're being triggered, as you're going through your own energetic adjustments and phases and clearing and cleansing and balancing, sit with it. Sit with what comes up. Sit with the anger. Sit with the pain. Sit with the frustration. Sit with the subconscious stuff that's coming up. Sit with it without judgment of yourself or anyone else. This is a way that we allow it to pass through, the energy to pass through, the frequency to pass through and let it go. So I've been doing that. I have my moment and I'm like, okay. And then I know I'm saying a lot and all over, but it's all about energy and chakras. Sometimes there are signs. Sometimes universe, source, God, angels, whatever verbiage you're comfortable with, leading to your spirituality. Sometimes there are signs too. And instead of running from them or getting upset, it's like the signs sometimes are there to help us to pay attention and redirect. Like, look, your energy system been trying to tell you, but you're afraid or whatever. So stuff start happening. all these accidents, or you're like, I'm super clumsy today, or what's going on? What's happening? And it's like, okay, because you got a sign, you need to make an adjustment, but there's something in your programming that's got you afraid or resistant to embrace that change, to take those leaps of faith. Whether it is you got that initial guidance to let go of something or someone or situation, but your fear program, or your need control, or your need to have it all figured out, then are you insane? We're gonna stick with this till the wheels fall off, baby. Right. And then next thing you know, I'm telling y'all what I know. I'm speaking from experience. I'm laughing because I'm telling y'all, next thing you know, you're like, well, I'll be doggone. And the end of it all, it ends up being what the guidance was, because you were led to do this, but you refused. You were scared. So you co-created, your highest intelligence co-created situation to bring you to the change. Whether it was by you fall on your knees, you keep having these accidents, what I'm saying, crazy stuff that made it so, because in your lower thinking, you did not feel comfortable yet, right? And guess what? This is the sweet part. That's okay too. Oh man, you guys, I'm so trying to learn how to just embrace all of those variances. We're so used to cracking the whip. It's like, guess what? That's okay. There's nobody doing this journey perfectly. Let me tell you, not in the way that we understand perfection. Nobody. And those who appear a certain way, even the plugged ins, y'all know what I refer to as the plugged ins, right? Plugged into the matrix. Sleep. Understand. All is not what it seemed there either. So why not embrace and accept ourselves with all of the bumps, bruises, challenges? One of my hopes and intentions is to increase my frequency to such a degree, like I hear Miss Wendy Kennedy. She's another light language worker here on YouTube. I highly recommend her. These are giants in the industry that you guys hear me talk about. They're not novice, they're not beginners. These are my distant mentors. And she talks about the Palladian perspective and how we really have the power to let go of belief systems that things be hard all the time, that we have to push and strive and struggle and pain, and that there's no growth if there's no pain, and that there's, all of these conditionings and programs she mentions, and did an activation with that. Like, we can let that go. And as we deal with that Akashic records, that subconscious, and let that go, that belief, that code, then we will start to rise in our frequency and then see from a neutral place how things actually can be smooth. That's my hope. That's my aim. That's my intent. Like, man, forget all this. I don't know what happened. I don't know what ancestry I done messed around. And you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm learning, but I'm like, forget all that drama. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there. I'm so like, I'll let it go. I'm letting it go. I want to access the power I have. Like, let's go ahead and neutralize that. Let's transmute that. Let's elevate. Let's elevate. Let's make right anything that needs to be brought to balance. That's just, yeah. All the struggle, suffer cold that the black folks came with, you know what I'm saying? Like, just all that, whatever. I don't know. I'm telling y'all, I ain't with that no more. Not. I'm blessing it, I'm thanking it, but I also understand that it's a code, it is a program, all of that. And maybe my soul at some point in the beginning of all this, wanted to have all these enriched, challenged experiences, but I now have the power by choice and by accessing that Akashic records. I don't think so. I don't want that anymore. It's not serving me anymore because it doesn't have to be that way. I can grow and I can learn without it needing to be catastrophic or painful or subjecting myself to constant pain and struggle and things that are not an equal match for me. Letting it go, raising my worthiness frequency, raising that to worthiness of something good and great and blissful and blessed and peaceful, worthy of something, someone, situation, circumstances, however you want to look at that. Like, mm-mm. Raise the self love, raise and raise. We're going to raise that. We're going to let go of the projections. We're going to raise that. We're going to tap in, be fluid, right? Right. So, anyway, yeah, I know I said a lot. And I know it wasn't structured. And I know it was all over the place. And guess what? I'm okay with that. Oh, because it's a time and a place for everything. And sharing is a part of my passion and my heart because I understand that it's not all just for me. Someone someday will hear it and be like, yup. And then they'll be go on their little path and journey and that's wonderful. That's what it's about. All right. So yeah, this time wasn't nothing fancy, but moving forward, I'm investing in some more things, more props and stuff like that. That would be more aesthetically pleasing for you guys, as well as I'm still contemplating on coming on camera. I don't know if that's something that would help. Um, I'm I'm on the fence with that because sometimes I feel like when people are on the camera, it's like it can be a distraction. Is the audience listening to anything you're really saying, or are they just looking at you? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just being honest. Like, are they really there? Or are they just looking at you? And I'm very animated. People who know me in the 3D reality know I'm animated. Everything about me is animated. And so my eyes are animated, my hands are animated. I'm animated, right? So I'm debating that, you guys. So hopefully, if I start hearing from some of you all, y'all can say, what do you think? Do you think I should come on camera or just kind of continue on with just creating some like nice, cool props for y'all and some, nice music background and things like that? Let me know. I'm really interested. I want to know. I closed out my Facebook account. Those of you who may have, looked at my Facebook, I'm gonna keep that closed for a while because I do want to focus on just trying to build up one platform. Just concentrate on YouTube and just start to do some different things just to see what happens with that. Okay. Um, I was contemplating Periscope as well. I was going to use the two platforms. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to focus on YouTube. So you all won't see me on any other platform for a while. I'm trying to minimize, simplify, and streamline what I'm doing the best I can. And so I feel like I just need to put all of my concentration as it relates to empaths holistic healing on YouTube. Okay. So that's that. Anyway, I'm sending you all love and light, love and light, love and light. What is that? You probably wonder. This is a bamboo. This is like a bamboo little circle thing that I use for my crystals, but it's natural bamboo. So I think I mentioned moving forward, we may get into some ASMR, but I don't know yet. Anyway, take some nice deep breaths, you all. Find you some solitude, important, even if it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes just with you, not with you on your phone, not with you and your list of things to do. 5 minutes for yourself with you. Recommended in nature. I mean, I highly recommend that um, because nature is grounding and refreshing to your energetic body as well as your physical, but certainly to your energetic body. Okay, 5 minutes, a nice walk in the cool breeze, cool evening. Hug a tree. Yes, I said hug a tree. I'm a tree hugger and I ain't ashamed of it. Hug a tree. Put your feet in some dirt outside. Remember dirt before we got super hypersensitive and afraid of everything? Remember dirt, y'all? Dirt. When we were kids, we wanted to play in dirt all the time. What happened to that? Wasn't afraid of dirt. Yeah, I know. But I'm telling you, go outside, put your feet in some dirt. I'm not saying you shouldn't wash them later. I'm not saying you shouldn't look at what you're stepping in. You want to make sure you ain't stepping on glass or you know what I'm saying? That ain't where I'm going. So be balanced in how you're hearing and receiving what I'm saying to you. But go hug a tree, put your feet in some dirt, go touch some bushes and flowers and moon gazing or you know what I'm saying? Something. Put your hands over your heart. Forget about everything and everyone. Forget about, work. Forget about everything for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Listen to your own breath. Follow it. Yeah. Stuff like that, you guys, okay? All right. Until next time, I'm sending you all much love and light. Please do the same for me. I could use all the high vibrational, high frequency love and support possible on my journey. It's much needed, and I appreciate any likes, any subscribes, any positive comments, any shares, and even hearing any of you all story because we're on this journey together. We learn from each other, we glean from each other, we encourage one another. That's what this is all about. All right. Okay. I'm sending you all mwah, mwah, hugs, love, kisses. The violet fire, baby. Violet fire. Zakiel, please transmit the violet fire to my beautiful followers here on Empaths Holistic Healing on YouTube and wherever they are at and whatever they need and in their Akashic records and subconscious and whatever they find that they are dealing with on their journey and that they are looking for help with. And I thank you in advance for that, Zakiel. So it is, and so let it be. Namaste.